149 of Broad Street Hustle. I'm your host, Tommy Nanny, bringing you a fun and exciting show. It's our first golf show of 2025, I believe, as we cover the 51st edition of the Players. And with that, always brings a special guest, but let's go through our regular co-host. On my right is Jason Sayeda.
Hey, Tom, what's going on?
Jason, how you doing? I got Jimmy the Chalk.
What's going on?
And for our golf podcast, our special guest, as always, is Kevin Krieger. Kevin?
Good to be back, boys.
Nice to have you back. The start of many golf shows for 2025. We always, actually, to start the show, let's go through our sponsor. It's Giovannina's Pizza. You tried the rest. Now try the best. All right. We always give Kevin a little platform when we start where he gives us some of the courses he may have played or playing. I know he's always playing some nice ones. I guess the last time you were on was the British Open, which was, I don't know, when was that? August?
That would be
July.
July last year.
So anything, Kevin, from then until now, anything upcoming to share?
I mean, I had a chance to go down to TPC. My buddy just moved down there. He played a couple weeks ago, but, work's been a little crazy. But next year, already putting on the book. So, for next year's Players Chat, might have a little insight to all the water balls, and tree shots I hit. But no, this year, no major trips. I mean, trying to get back out London. Obviously, my annual Pinehurst trip further south, but the sticks are a little dusty. But hopefully, if like the Players kicks it off, be able to get back out there, and we got to get around in Tom. I can't believe we haven't, even slapping around over at Rock Manor.
No, we haven't. We had a couple planned, and it kind of fell through. But yeah, weather's starting to break today. It was nice, so I think we have some in the future. Probably our other guy that would play with us might be out of commission for a little bit, as he has a kid about to happen. But I'm sure we can round out a foursome. All right, let's get into it. We always kick it off, Jason. We kind of give you the forum to go over some of the course overview, and then Kevin always has some good ads and Chalky as well. So, Jason, you want to kick us off with kind of what is TPC Sawgrass and the Players Championship?
Yeah, so I'm going to jump around in my notes, but so it's a 7,275-yard course, par 72. It is there are 3 par 5s. The average is only 553 yards, so you kind of need to make up some score on those 3 par 5s. Of course, the 17th hole is what everyone likes to talk about. It's that island green. I do have a over under in balls in the water for this tournament. It's 57.5, which is interesting. Don't know if anybody will have a thought on that when they do their bets, but the top 65 are going to make the cut. I believe Chalky mentioned earlier there's 144 golfers that are entered in the tournament, but the top 65 will make the cut, including ties. There's 88 bunkers on the course. There are 16 water holes, which is the most on the tour, which is pretty crazy. No consecutive holes play in the same direction, which is also interesting. The fairways are ryegrass, and the greens are Poa Trivialis. The 17th hole, we'll jump back to there. The 17th hole double bogey rate is 8%, which is pretty interesting. So,
yeah. So I just did a quick calculation, and I definitely could be wrong, but they're predicting. So the over under on balls in the water is like 11%, or no? I guess there could be a double, right? The guy hits it in there twice, which is
yeah.
But if you go 144 times 2 and then 65 times 2, whatever, 2 rounds. So that gives you 418 shots off the tee, and then 130 or whatever it was, 50 is 11%. Does that sound right?
Sure, yeah. That's right.
I was told there would be no math on this
Yeah.
program.
Seems kind of high, doesn't it? I mean, that seems like a
That's
lot.
high. Yeah. Anyway, so 26 out of the last 26 winners of this tournament have made the cut in the previous tournament that they played in. And then finally, the weather seems pretty tame for tomorrow. We're taping this on Wednesday, so for tomorrow's Thursday and Friday. Saturday becomes windy, and then Sunday becomes windy with possible thunderstorms. So the weekend could be a little iffy. That's pretty much all I have. Don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
Yeah, Kevin, do you have any nice tidbits?
Yeah, I mean,
stuff?
I feel like the players, I mean, if you look at the recent winners, I mean, it's the elite of the elite, right? You got Scotty back to back, Tigers won it, Jason Day, Rory. So, it's one of those courses where, I mean, you got a Webb Simpson or Siwoo Kim in there, but tends to favor elite golfers. But the interesting thing, I mean, especially with this game, it's kind of a bomb and gouge league. I mean, this is one of those courses, Harbor Town's another one, which I think is another Pete Dye course where it takes the driver out of your hand a lot. I mean, there's a lot of, like you said, Jason, ton of water on the course, a lot of sharp dog legs and trees. So, driving, I don't think is going to be, a hugely advantageous strategy. Another interesting thing too is that it tends to fade or favor right to left ball movement. I feel like these days a lot of the elite guys try to hit that fade a lot more predictable, but this is one of those courses that, if you can hit a draw, if you could work it both ways, kind of give you a leg up on the field. Bogey avoidance. Right. I mean, I feel like every course, but here, trying to limit the crooked numbers as best you can. Cause, 17 has not, ended many guys' tournaments on Friday, for 135-yard hole. It's obviously been Island Green, one of the most intimidating ones. And then another interesting stat, I mean, probably has no correlation. This is more of a British Open stat, but 14 of the last 16 champions played in the early late draw. And actually every winner since 2015 has been the early late draw. So I don't know if it's a random fact or there's something to that, but just thought that was something that popped out.
I mean, just when you think about it, I mean, you're playing late and then you're playing early. I guess that's kind of tough to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, quick turnaround.
You would always want to play early and late instead of late early, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you'd
That
think.
kind of makes sense.
I mean, that's a crazy. I'd be interested to see what percentage of winners throughout the season playing that draw. I mean, but that every winner since 2015, 14 to 16. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I'd like to look into that and see, like, overall, because you would think that would make sense, right?
I mean, late's usually harder in general, right? When the course kind of dries out and then the greens
And then
might
you're
turn
jumping
off.
right back in it the next morning.
I mean, less to think about, right? But yeah, at the same time, I mean, I know Tiger was like the early late, which he obviously won't be playing this week.
Yeah, Tiger Tours
Yeah, he's in
ruptured his Achilles, right? So I mean,
He's in
just
trouble.
another.
At 49, that's not going to be easy to.
Well, I already had major leg surgery.
Yeah.
Back surgery. He's a fused ankle. Yeah, fused spine.
Yeah,
He's basically like a cyborg at this point.
that could be it.
Yeah, one of the things I wrote down was precision and patience, where it kind of what Jason and Kevin both said, where there's holes where you just flat out can't go for birdie. You got to play patient, take your par, and then you have the opportunities on some of the par five. Some holes where you have to capitalize with a birdie. There are your chances. And if you don't, and then you start hunting birdies on holes that shouldn't really be birdies, that's where you get in trouble. One thing me and Kevin were talking about at the office today, and I don't have the exact stat, but I saw it on the golf channel earlier in the week. Historically, and they put like 10 guys, and it dated back all the way to like Greg Norman, Nick Price, but then it had Tiger, Rory. and I forget the number. Tiger was like 50% or 51% making top tens in his career of every tournament he's ever played in. Here, he's like 12%
Yep.
of
Yeah.
player championship. So it's the inconsistency of the players from year over year that can make it, and that's because of that risk reward, that patience. You can put up big numbers on particular holes and just spiral, or you can get a late, 17 can take you out of top 10. So definitely a course that could play kind of sporadic. But to Kevin's point, it does seem like the elite players still ultimately are the ones that carry the tournament.
It seems like iron play is really important in this tournament.
Oh yeah,
More
Yeah,
than
I'd say more approach.
it's accuracy. I mean, driving accuracy, and we'll
Approach.
get into that in a second. But Chalky, I want to give you a chance, and then I had some back for Kevin. If there was any like kind of nuances or tidbits you had.
Just a couple things, and some of this is now repeating what some of the guys said. But since this tournament moved from May to March in 2019, we talked about elite play. Well, the winner's been a current top 10 player ever since it moved back to March in 2019. And just a little tidbit here, which I did not write, but I will not name the website to avoid any copyright suits. As is the case with Dye's Designs, this is a positional and strategic venue and much different than a lot of bomb and gouge type setups. Off the tee, players are faced with fairly narrow fairways that average 30 yards wide and are surrounded by 4-inch rough and pine straw that punish missed fairways more than the average tour course. So it's been said that, if you're really strong in one facet of the game as opposed to others, it doesn't favor long hitters or great putters. You need to be able to hit every club out of the bag. If there is one strength, iron play and approach shots gained is where you're going to see the most of anyone's statistic. But when you look at the average winners of the last couple of years and their rankings and these different stats, most of them are 10 or higher, a couple in the 30s. Driving accuracy, the average rank since 2021 has been 31. So not very high. It's high, but it's not top 10. So, so it'll be interesting to see, if that kind of trend continues with the elite players as it has been. But you don't need to be super strong in any one category. If you're more evenly distributed, then you're as good a chance as anybody.
Yeah, I think the only thing with you guys all alluded the historical data where like this guy, I think Live does factor in a little bit because you don't have the same players. You watch the PGA now, like the guys ain't as good as they were even 5 years ago when you had the Live guys on the tour. So that could always skew some of these. I mean, we saw Scheffler win back to back, which was the first time that's ever happened in players' history. So I think some of those historical stuff could get skewed from time to time, but the general consensus is still, what you guys said. Kevin, we were also talking, no, doesn't really factor into the winner, but there was a hole where they added a tree back. I think you said.
Yes,
That was interesting.
Modern marvel of engineering. So apparently the sixth hole had an iconic tree right off the tee box, kind of a hanging. I don't know if it was an oak. I think a couple years ago in a storm, blew down. So the last 2 years, haven't had that tree. And yeah, we saw the same thing where in the off season, they found a replacement tree almost identical, like 100 yards off the 6th tee. And they moved this freaking 500,000-pound tree, replanted it off the tee box. There's a video out there, Golf Channel had it on last night. I mean, it's, I put up there with like, maybe not building the Great Pyramid, but that tree's back on 6. So kind of crazy what you can do. I mean, the Masters does this all, or Augusta does this all the time with moving trees, but I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, I actually seen a still photo too on Twitter of like 2019 of the tree or whatever it was, and then the hole without the tree, and then this year, and this year's tree, although they tried to find one that's sort of, it's hard. It's more fuller. It's like it looks harder than it was back in the you have to be. And I saw Scotty hit a shot. I guess it was yesterday or today in the practice round where he kind of went between two branches of it. So it's going to factor in. I mean, you're going to see guys have to change the way they play that hole. So definitely going to be something interesting. And that was hole 6.
Yeah, 6 hole.
6, yeah. And
All
one
right,
other
great.
thing I forgot to mention, just to hear what Jason said, Sunday could definitely be a nasty weather day. So if you're doing any specific round scores, that you're probably looking at some higher scores on Sunday with the current weather forecast if you're going to do just round by round betting.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's start talking about some of the key statistics before we get into some guys. I'll let Jason. I have everything written down here, but I'll let Jason kick off some of the stats, and then we can all just kind of bounce around from there.
Yeah, I don't really have stats, but what I looked at is I was looking at approach, strokes gained approach, and then also around the green and scrambling strokes gained. So that's basically what I based my handicapping off of. And then I always look at guys, and I know I've heard people say that this particular course, it doesn't really matter if you've done well in the past. I still don't buy that. I think if you've done well on this course, I use that in my handicapping. I like course for course in golf. I really do. Maybe it doesn't matter as much in this tournament, but I just do it.
I think it, especially with the guys that have played this course 5, 6, like it has. The younger guys you can watch because they may have learned something from a poor round. So maybe they didn't play well, but it was because they didn't have the right approach. They were going for too many. They were playing too loose. So maybe they changed their game around. But overall, if you gave me the option to take a guy who played well at this course before, a guy that hasn't, you would think
absolutely. Yep.
The key statistic I have, and I have a bunch, was shots gained on approach. That was the number one statistic that you can use for this course, and it was, far and away the most important. There's water on a lot of the holes, as Jason said. You can't afford to be like loosey goosey with it, and to the point, you have to go after pins when you have birdie opportunities because you need to get close enough to make those putts. Mm-hmm. And then I actually have the top 5 over the last 24 rounds of golfers. So that was far and away the most important, was shots gained approach.
I actually just found a stat. Justin Ray, great follow on Twitter, comes up with crazy stats that actually flies in the face of everything we've just been talking about. So since the move back to March, the strokes gained tee to green of the last 5 champions. So in the tournament, Rory in 2019, first in tee to green. JT 2021, they didn't play in 2020 because of COVID. First in tee to green. Cam Smith was 35th, but he was first in putting. And Scotty, each of the last 2 years, first in tee to green.
Interesting. So the stat I had was this was just 21. Average tee to green was 9.5 ranking, but that one throws it off a lot. So
4 out of the last 5 champs were first tee to green.
Yeah.
Another interesting too. Since they moved back to March, the winning margin was 1 stroke in 4 out of the last 5 years as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, some of the other key stats I jotted was good driving percentage accuracy. So like you guys both alluded to, all three of you alluded to, it's not necessarily the distance off the tee. It's going to be more of the accuracy off the tee. Interesting there though is if you look at the top 5 guys over the last 24 rounds. Morikai was the only name that stands out. Couple unknown guys or middle of the road guys. Makes sense. They probably don't hit the ball very long to begin with, so that's probably why they're a little more accurate. But that was an important stat. I had shots gained total, obviously. Overall ball striking, of course, and then recent form plays a pretty big part of it as well from past winners. And again, I have guys from all the categories. And Kev, Chalky, anything to add around statistics? Anything you guys? Any outliers you noticed?
No, I think this is one of the courses, kind of what Jason was saying about past champions making the cut the previous week. I think of any Pete Dye course, which is diabolical, and the conditions that it's in. I think recent form is definitely something that plays, into success here. you don't have a lot of guys coming out of left field winning that. When we get to our picks, which I feel like nobody's gonna pick Xander this week, top guy, but yeah, I think recent form is definitely something that is important.
For sure.
And just Jason mentioned, previous form at the course. So these are just the top 5 guys who have the lowest average rounds over the last 4 years. Scotty, obviously, Matsuyama, Harmon, Siwoo Kim, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Lowest round average last 4 years.
Yeah, and another thing that was interesting is, and you're starting to see a little. I mean, you look at the odds for guys to win, and what's that? One guy in single digits in Scheffler, right? And then what? 3 guys below 20 to 1 or 22 to 1, and then the rest are all above that number. I mean, there's value out there for guys to win anymore because of, Scheffler is obviously so far skewed to win a lot of these tournaments, and it's just creating such value on a lot of the other guys. So
Yeah.
definitely something interesting. And Scheffler has not been. I mean, his putting is still just not getting better, and it's really biting him.
Claw grip isn't doing much for him.
No,
He's
trying. The fact that you just keep, he switched putters last year, and that kind of helped for a tad, and then kind of fell off. Then, like you said, he switched grips, and now that hasn't really done anything this year for him.
I think he's just not going to be a good putter. I mean, I don't foresee him becoming a good putter. I mean, some guys just maybe the best iron player we've seen since Tiger Woods, but not a good putter.
I mean, how many of the greats become great putters at this stage of their life? I mean, he's not old, but I mean,
yeah,
is that the skill you really learn, like, past your early 20s? Like,
I mean, know. A lot of guys, when they were able to use the long putter, like Adam Scott, which kind of revolutionized that.
Equipment changes could be a big thing. Yeah, so that's I didn't think about it.
And again, not playing this week, but he's one that's become a much better putter.
It looks like I'm sure like it's the speed of which you hit the ball, etc. But he just flat out reads putts poorly too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of times where he misses and he's confused on
I don't ever have confidence he's going to make like a 12, 15 foot putt.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get into anything else before we start giving out some picks. Anything else on the course? Any other statistics that you guys jumped out at you before we hop in here? All right, Jason, we'll kick it off with you. Just give us your winner. I don't know if you want to give one guy a win or if you have a couple.
You tell me. I have 6 guys that I bet to win, but I have one that I really think.
So let's just do one guy. You got a gun in your head. You got to make one pick, whether that pick is who you flat out think is going to win, or you flat out think is going to win because the value is there for him to win. But this is the gun in your head pick you have to make. I
don't think there's value in this guy, but I think he's a strong, very strong candidate to win, and that's Ogre. Now, he was 16 to 1 on DraftKings. He was 18 to 1 on FanDuel. Obviously, I bet FanDuel. I mean, there's just so much to like about this kid, and he's playing well. And I believe, like, he trains at this golf course, if I heard correctly.
He does. Yep.
Yeah. And I think he is going to win one of the 5. I mean, you could call this the 5th major, right?
They do.
I really think he's going to win one of the 5 this year, and this, to me, would be, the most optimal one for him to win. So,
all right, and I'll go next. So let me read my notes here. I don't really think there's value in this guy, but I mean, I do think this is the guy that's going to win, and that's Ludwig Aberg.
The dude was built in a lab.
I believe he practices on this court. So I literally have everything Jason said. He practices here at CP Sawgrass. He played the junior championship here at TPC Sawgrass. Yep. He's finished 8th last year in his debut at
Yeah.
this course. He's finished he's been in great form. The only one that he didn't was he was 4 out of 6, like top 15, and he won one, and then the one he had to pull out of because he was sick. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think he's, you could argue there's not value, and there's not because it's a golf tournament. You're taking 16, 18 to 1 on a guy, but I mean, you're still getting, you line up a football game or you line up a bet on a horse race, and you tell me you got a guy you think's going to win at 16, 18 to 1. It's pretty good value. That's pretty good odds. Yeah, I would have to agree. Chalky, who did you got?
Well, if we had done a draft like we did last year and I had the number 1 pick, I would take Scotty, unlike last year, that mistake. If I had the number 2 pick, I would have taken Ludwig Ahlberg. So I'll go with one of my other – I had 3 players to bet to win. I'll go a different way. I'll go Matsuyama. Matsuyama is one of my 3. You can get him at 30 to 1 right now on FanDuel, which is slightly better than DraftKings, but I'll take Matsuyama.
So he was 30 on DraftKings and 33 on FanDuel when I looked. So he's out.
They're dropping, and Ahlberg is now 16 on both.
Yes, I'm on FanDuel.
All right, Kev, can you break the streak?
So, yes, while I do have Oberg in a fun parlay, I'll reveal a little later. Big money parlay.
We like that.
A guy I really like this week, former champ, been in great form. Fan favorite, one of my favorite golfers.
I know what you're going to say. You're a sucker for him. Go ahead.
Justin Thomas. I mean, he's on the season. He's 8 for 8 and made cuts. He has 5 top 10s in 8 tournaments, 2 runner-ups and a 3rd place. Again, like I said, a previous champ. I think his game this year after, swing change, struggling for a few years, hasn't been in the winner's circle, but I think he's a guy that is going to come in here, looking to shake things up. I mean, like I said, I also have him later. I think, getting his 3rd major at some point, but I think he's got a real good shot. So he's one of my 4 winners.
What happened to him last week in Arnie? I mean, he was rolling, and then before
I mean, actually, he did. I mean, Thursday was diabolical, and he was 1 under. I mean, right up there. But
Thursday he started with 2 double bogeys, and then he just turned it on.
Which is wild. It was. I mean, I don't think a great course fit for me. The weekend, I don't know what happened, but in a way, I think it's kind of good. Made up. I mean, I'd like to say he found something on Sunday. He really didn't, but maybe it'll, motivate him to come in here. Course that he likes, great history. Like I said, won a few years ago, and 22 to 1. I think he's the 6th shortest odds, but you're still getting, I think, a little bit better value than Oberg.
All right, now Jason, do you have other guys that you think are going to win the tournament? It could be long shots to win as well, but just flat out win.
So I have 5 other win bets I did. I'll start with Sepp Straka. Now I bet him on FanDuel at 45 to 1. Guy's in tremendous form. He may be like on the precipice of winning a major. I mean, he's a really good golfer, and he's just getting better every year. He was 40 to 1 DraftKings, 45 to 1 on FanDuel. So I bet Sepp.
Sorry, he was 65 to 1.
I know I missed the boat a little bit, but I also bet Matsuyama Chalky. I got him at 33 to 1 on FanDuel. And then I'm going to give Lowry one more shot. I know he killed me last week because I had him. But he's 40 to 1, so I threw something on him. Daniel Berger is a long shot. He's playing really good golf right now. He's healthy again. I got him at 65 to 1 on FanDuel. And then Aaron Rye as a bomb. I have at 70 to 1 on DraftKings. And you're going to hear his name again from me later.
All right. Well, I'll just skip my guys, and I don't have the one guy's odds written down, but it's a bomb. But I don't know it. I have Seb Straka as the other guy that I think is going to
They
win.
sit next to each other.
He's top fives in strokes gained approach. He's in good form. He has one win, four top 15s in six tournaments. He's third in shots gained approach, third in shots gained strokes, and eighth in par five scoring. So I mean, not much else I have to say. I just had this guy and I can't find him. Crazy long shot, which I won't give. I'll give last. I'll try to kill time as I'm looking for his odds. But another guy I had, and I mentioned it to Kevin, was Ra as well.
Right, right.
Right. I ain't even gonna say why. I mean, Jason already covered it. But the other guy, maybe somebody knows the odds, is Nick Taylor. He's first in shots gained approach, very accurate driver. He likes to avoid trouble. He won the Sony in Hawaii, and he was T9 at Torrey Pines.
I might throw some. I like.
He's 110 to 1 on DraftKings and FanDuel, same. So 110 to 1.
90 to 1 on.
Yeah, so
I like
mean that's a bomb. I mean, obviously that's a top 20, top 10. They're guys that
I like that a lot. Yeah.
and he's a guy you might hear later on. And then I do have some top 10s, top 20s, whatever. But I'll hold them. They're like bombs. So, well, for the interest of what we're doing at this moment, I'll hold off and I'll yield the floor to Chalky.
Can I take Aaron Rye now for the cut parlay?
For these guys.
No. Well, so I stopped at 3. If I went to 4, Straka would have been 4. So he's not an official pick, but obviously. The only guy that we haven't mentioned, well, he was mentioned, but not in this format, is I'll take a shot with Xander at 25 to 1. It's a horse for the course, for sure. Coming back last week, started bad, finished well over at Spyglass. You know, he got those 2 wins last year, so he's choked his way to second a bunch of times in this tournament, but you're probably not going to get these odds on him again, and they might very well be justified to be this high this time, but I'll take a shot with them.
Yeah, they're always tricky guys coming off the injury. Not you don't know. To Chalky's point, he plays well here, you're never going to see those odds again, but they're just tough to gauge. Kevin?
Yeah, I got a few shorter odds, and actually I do like, some guys with the longer odds, but one guy, he's got to get his first win at some point. Plays tough courses, great iron player.
I know you're going to say.
Well, we've used this name too many times on the podcast.
Of Aaron Rye, Tommy Fleetwood at 30.
Top 20, absolutely.
All day. 30.
Let me predict. He's going to have a good first round, mediocre second round, terrible third round,
and then
great unbelievable fourth round, and he's going to finish sixth.
But his iron play is going to be solid, and he's one of those guys, if his putter gets hot, watch it, it's just got to stay hot for 4 rounds. So I want to be there for the block party when he does get his first win. So I'll take Tommy 33 to 1. Strzok, you guys mentioned, I don't know about to win, but I do like him in, some top 10, 20 bets. We'll get to later. But 2 guys that in great form. This one guy, one of Sean Foley's latest students, excellent form. He's got 3 top 10s out of the last 5 tournaments, top 13 in the last 5 tournaments, finished 4th last week. But this guy's balling. Michael Kim, you can get him at 70 to 1 on FanDuel. Sprinkle a little to win, top 10, top 20 as well.
He's the guy that just looks like he doesn't know how to win yet. He doesn't have that killer in him yet.
He also doesn't know what he doesn't know. I think he could stumble into a win. Like I said, if not for 75 in round 1 last week, he shot 3 straight rounds in the 60s. He could have been more in the mix, last week. But at 70 to 1, I'll throw a dart.
Yeah, I like him.
And trying to find the odds, but another guy who a couple years ago was the darling of the PGA Tour, seemingly, I mean, should have won the U.S. Open, could have won the Masters, but had, come from a back injury. Last week he gained 8 strokes on the field, tee to green. But talking about putting, lost 6 strokes in putting. So talking about iron play, one of the pure strikers out there is Will Zalatoris. Trying to find this.
65 to 1 on DraftKings.
75 to 1 on FanDuel. So again, a little shot, to win, but as far as long shots go, like in 10s and 20s, but he's somebody that could, if he can just figure out, I mean, even if he gives up 3, strokes of the field putting, his ball striking is as good as it gets. So I like Willie Z as well.
All right, and then JC, you want to round out some more of your top 20s or top whatever else you may have?
Yeah, so most of these are guys I already mentioned. Berger, top 20, he was plus 240 on FanDuel. Straka was plus 180 on both, so I use them. Siwoo Kim, I mean, I threw him in. He's plus 230 on FanDuel. He plays well in this course, and he played well last week. Bezuidenhout, I threw something on him, plus 300 for top 20. He's been playing well. He played well here before. Your guys, you all mentioned Michael Kim, plus 250 on FanDuel. Threw him in. Aaron Rye was plus 240 on FanDuel. And then my last one is a real bomb who's played well here, Doug Gim, plus 350 on FanDuel.
All right. Yeah, I'll give out 3 guys for and I only wrote down top 10, but I mean, I would definitely recommend top 20 on these guys more so than top 10, but I only have the odds on the top 10. First was Nikolai Hollard. So he was plus 1100 on top 10. Ben Coles was plus 18 top 10, and Henrik Norlander was plus 1800 top 10. So obviously those odds top 20 are going to be much less, but still pretty juicy for a top 10, top 20 bet. So 3 kind of long shots. And then, I mean, if they win the tournament, your kids' college is paid for. If you made it back, Henrik Norlander's plus 35,000 or 35, something insane. So, I don't think he's gonna win, but
you're loving your Scandinavians. That's
yeah.
Oberg, Norlander, Højgaard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're all are.
You gotta pick the right Højgaard though. What if you pick the wrong?
Rasmus and Nikolai.
I got Nikolai.
Yeah, he didn't go with Eric van Rooyen. He's above Norlander.
South African.
Yeah, well, it sounds Nordic enough.
You're going by sound. Chalky.
I'm not going to give out the specific odds, but either any of these guys would be top 10 or 20 plays. Brian Harman, Minwoo Lee, Daniel Berger, Michael Kim, Siwoo Kim. Yeah,
Harman's a guy that is kind of made well for the course. He's a left-hander, so could play towards Kevin's, ball flight. He doesn't hit the ball very long off the tee, but he's very accurate off the tee. So, I mean, a lot of the things you look for in a golfer, he fits here. Kevin?
A lot of same guys in the top, 10s, 20s, the Aaron Rise, Sepp, Michael Kim, we said. And then Tommy Fleetwood, Zalatoris, throw him there as well. And then one other guy, I don't know if we talked about him before we started recording, little bit of a mental midget, but Jason Day has been in solid form as of late. You can get him around plus 200 for a top 20. And I don't know if you want this now, but I as I was saying, it's a crazy parlay, but basically it's $1 million parlay that I put together. $10 to win 1.1 million. So talking about paying for college.
Give it to us now. I think we're ready for it. I think we want to hear this.
An 8-legger, so not too crazy. And it starts at the top, as I was saying before. Ludwig Oberg to win. Morikawa top 5. Hideki and Straka top 10. Fleetwood, Rye, and Michael Kim top 20, and then Bezaden who top 20. So that's an 8-leg parlay for $10. You can win yourself 1.1.
I mean, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound crazy, to
Right?
be honest.
Just
Now, obviously, you got 8 guys, and there's only 20 of them that can. So you're accounting for almost 50% of the top 20.
It's 4 top 20s, 2 top 10s, a top 5 in the winner.
No, but ultimately they're guys that are top 1, top 5, which makes it even juicier that they got to finish first and win. But you're still even just picking 8 top 20s is the. But again, I mean, when you say it out loud, it seems plausible.
Maybe a pod, $10 parlay to win.
You might have to take some kind of sanity insurance and like take Morikawa to win, because if Abrick finishes second, Morikawa wins the tournament or something. He might be so.
Cash out would probably be juicy. But
that's a good one. That's a fun one.
Yeah,
Jason, you have. Did you also have make the cut? What was it? What else did you have left? We did top 20.
I mean, I had make the cut guys, so I don't know if we wanted to give our make the cut guy.
Yeah, why don't we give our make the cut? I don't know if Chalky, you want to build it live here on the air.
We can do it live.
The kind of so we're talking a little bit off air. I don't know if this is different, but of the 144 golfers, there's only about 50 of them that are on the make the cut, at least through DraftKings or FanDuel. So not every golfer is eligible. If you use a site and you find a guy you like that is, then go for it. But the sites we use, we can only go off of so many. So one of the guys I wanted to make the cut isn't on there. So I had to kind of call an audible. But Jason, you want to give your guy first?
Yeah, so I mentioned Aaron Rye, and you're not getting great odds on this. So I mean, that kind of tells you that you got a legit chance for I know Kevin mentioned he's got him in his top 20 also, but minus 225 on FanDuel, minus 230 on DraftKings. So, and that was earlier today. I don't know if that changed or not.
Nah, it's still good.
Okay.
All right, and then my guy Jason, you actually just mentioned him in the last discussion, and it was it Doug Gim?
Yeah.
Gim. So Gim, I think he was minus 175.
DraftKings said 175. However, FanDuel is 152.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess keep going to see what one's going to be best.
Chalky, FanDuel. I'm sure it's going to be FanDuel.
Yeah, I can pretty much say it's going to be FanDuel. I'll go with Brian Harmon. He's minus 152 on FanDuel, so 175 on DraftKings.
Kev?
And I'll go Willie Z, Zalatoris, minus 176 on FanDuel.
All right, Chalky, you want to do the reveal?
So the FanDuel 4-leg parlay with those guys is plus 522.
Not too bad.
5-1.
I believe I didn't miss one of these make the cuts live on air. I don't know if everybody could say that.
No,
I don't know.
Batia or
Batia cost me.
Batia, yeah, that was an ugly one.
Well, we did hit one.
We hit one or two. We
hit a couple. Well, we hit we hit this tournament last year.
Is that what it was? We're trying to figure it out.
Did we hit the U.S. Open? Was it?
I don't remember.
I know we hit the first one. Yeah, so it must have been the Players.
Yeah.
So so Chalk, you put this one in. I'll put the Masters, and then so on and so forth, and then maybe hopefully one of us hits, and then
So it's 522 on FanDuel for those following at home. It's 431 on DraftKings. So unless you have a bonus on DraftKings, that would bump it up. FanDuel is obviously the way to go because it's better odds on every single person we mentioned.
I didn't see any bonuses on my end.
I have not seen anything either. So
it's a hole-in-one bonus, I think, on DraftKings, 50% to make a hole-in-one. But
yeah, some other interesting. I was playing around. I saw like you could take individual guys to put the ball in the water in 17. Like Justin Thomas was plus 300 to put it in the water, minus 500 not to put. I'm sorry.
Like just once for the whole tournament?
Yep, exactly. So like yes or no. It was obviously they vig you out with minus 500 versus.
Oh, so that's any hole, not just 17.
17.
Oh, just 17. Okay.
Just 17. Yeah, and they were all like Auberg was plus 300. Roy was. It was basically like that whole the echelon of guys are all plus 300. They just kind of give you a flat, but probably kind of fun bet. I mean, it's one of those things like you can watch for. It gives you some rooting interest. Jason, you had did you have other make the cut guys?
Yeah, Berger was minus 205 on FanDuel. Gim was minus 152 on FanDuel, and then Straka was minus 235. So those are my four. But a number of the guys you guys mentioned, I like. But those were just the ones that caught my eye.
Yeah, Chalky, anything from you?
No.
Okay, Kevin,
You
anything
can,
from you?
Jason, you can bet Batia to miss the cut.
Oh,
Even money.
I bet him to drown on the or get eaten by an alligator. Maybe an alligator will get him.
Yeah, I don't have any other. I'm just looking at the miss cut. Anything? I mean, Xander plus 210 to miss the cut. I think he'll do decent enough to make it. But
That's interesting.
Rory plus 320.
Oh, Xander has not missed the cut in like something outrageous. It's like
Yeah, I mean he's
5 years.
Yeah, that's a tough. I mean, last week you would have thought he had a shot like coming back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
now
if he didn't miss the cut last week, he's not missing.
yeah. And to Chalky's point, he started to play better as he played. The rounds went on, so
Yeah,
you gotta think he's gonna.
nah.
All right. I mean, it's our quick show. Do we have anything else from you guys to add? We did our cup bet. We gave out our winners. Jason, Chalky, Kevin. Did you guys have any? Kevin gave out his $1 million bet, $10.
heard it here live.
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully, I mean, maybe Chalky, you have a point. Maybe we hold off until tomorrow just to see if we get a bonus on those. Oh no, we won't. Like tomorrow's. I think this.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
They start fairly early, I think, right?
like 7.
Yeah. No, we should just.
Yes, first tee is 7:40.
Yeah, I guess they're not giving us bonuses this year. That kind of stinks.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. With the cut bets, did they do that? Is it
Do
just
they do dual starts? Do they start at 1 and 10?
Probably.
Because they got 6
Yeah.
guys listed for 740, so
Yeah,
that's accurate that they must do.
144 guys.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
do 3 and 3. Yeah, I would say 144 guys. I think they have to.
Yeah, so that sucks because I think last year we were getting like bonuses on these.
Yeah, I feel like we did, but
And does what channel is this on? Is this CBS or NBC?
I'm
I don't know.
pretty sure.
I would like to complain before.
it is. Let's see. It's on ESPN Plus tomorrow, according to this.
So,
Whatever. Good.
But I don't know if
It's got to be on like
There you go.
Golf Channel by.
how to watch. ESPN Plus is the main feed. ESPN Plus, ESPN Bet. That's tomorrow. Yeah. That's early at the very least. And then
No,
later
but like Sunday, like who's the main? Is it CBS?
Who's the main?
or-
Yeah, I don't know.
it's this is not showing me. That's let me see Sunday. I believe it's NBC. Yes.
yeah.
So on Sunday, the Golf Channel's coverage ended at 2:27. Then they moved to NBC for 2:30. NBC doesn't come back from commercial until 2:37, from which then they have to show Scotty Scheffler 18 shots he had to be 10 shots behind. Then they show the first live shot at like 2:39. It was 12 minutes between shots that if you were watching the main coverage, not streaming it on Peacock or whatever. 12 minutes on Sunday of the final round before you can watch a golf shot. That's ridiculous.
And what's crazy, they're the same company. I mean, NBC owns the
They
Golf
just
Channel.
changed
It's not
channels.
like they got to switch over. Well, and the other thing too, they cut into Henley's Eagle chip, or
Yeah, like halfway
halfway
through
into
the ball,
the
like-
hole.
Yeah,
You knew what was going on.
Commercial. Yeah.
I'm not an NBC. I do not like NBC's cut.
I mean,
That's Jason's company.
Not anymore. I sold all my stock. They could crash and burn now.
The only thing they got right, I would say, at the Players are two of the greatest calls of all time. The Hal Sutton, Be the Right Club call. I think that was on, might have been 18. And then the Tiger putt on 17, better than most. Better than most. I mean, those are two iconic golf calls. So that, I mean, the coverage might suck, but two of the most iconic calls.
Yeah, and they got Faxon doing the color. I mean, it's not what
Yeah,
I
I mean,
really
Faxon doesn't do much for me, but
see.
They got rid of the other guy nobody liked. Who was his name?
Faldo?
Miller. I love Johnny Miller.
Not Miller.
Aldo?
No,
Faldo was CBS, wasn't he?
CBS. Yeah, now
He left though. He didn't get fired. I think he just decided he didn't
didn't
want
they
to
have a Nota Begay? Who was Nota Begay?
wasn't him. No, it was some other guy that nobody liked. Like everybody just said he wouldn't shut up, and I can't think of his name now,
No,
but
not sure.
he was an analyst. He wasn't really like the announcer.
Frank Noblo? No.
No, it wasn't him. I'll have to look it up. I'll text you.
Yeah, all right. If nobody else has anything to add, we're gonna finish 10 minutes prior to the hour mark. Next week, as of now, I think we're gonna do our trivia show. As long as Meeker doesn't back out of it. So stay tuned for that. But this was episode 149 of the Players Championship. Kevin, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the U.S. Open.
Masters.
No, we won't.
No,
The Masters.
Masters.
We'll see you at the Masters.
see him at the U.S. Open. We'll see him at the Masters first.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
So, yeah.